Hey, what's up, guys? David Glenn of davidglennrecording.com, home of the free VIP mix training bundle. Go check out davidglennrecording.com where you can pick up multiple free video courses. We've got impulse responses, 2 sets of multi-tracks, all kinds of stuff for you just for becoming a subscriber. Go check that out. And then also the proaudiofiles.com for all of the amazing free content over there. In this video, we're going to kind of continue on with looking at this Butch Vig plugin from Waves, but I'm going to take more of a hybrid approach. And the argument can be made that you could recreate all of this. I've shown a video on how you can take stock plugs and free plugins and recreate the different modules and what's going on here. But now, it's pretty quick and easy to throw this on and get something sounding really good really quickly. So what I want to do is show you how maybe you do use this, but then you want a little bit more control without going through the multiple parallel chains and all that extra stuff. Just want to take it a little bit further. So here's a hybrid approach. I'm going to go ahead and move the Butch Vig plugin down a couple of patches here. And the first thing I'm going to talk about is the virtual mix rack from Slate, because I love VCC across my mix. I think it's great. So I'm going to dial in. I'm going to solo this vocal and dial in some gain with that.
Well, stand up on your own 2 feet. No excuses are left, no way. Shall I be told to fade away? I love a peaceful existence.
Okay, so there's a nice vibe going on with the virtual channel from Slate. And then next what I would do to have a little bit more control would be to use my own EQ in front of the plugin. Come in here and put my low cut filter where I want that. And now that's going to get rid of the sub stuff before it goes into the plugin. So that's a cool approach. And then what I would do is also listen.
Well, stand up on your own 2 feet. No excuses are left, no way. Shall I be told to fade away? I love a peaceful existence of life. War and strife can only shorten my days, so I pray that your skies are never gray. I could never do my neighbor that way.
Okay, so maybe a couple frequencies that we want to get a little bit tighter on, get out. I'm doing this quickly for example's sake, but you guys get the point. Have a couple more bands of flexibility if you want to get surgical. Maybe you've got a little bit too much room noise. You want to go hunting for that and find that. You can come up here and sweep around and then pull that back, get a little bit more surgical. Moving on from having the greater control of your reductive EQ phase, we can come in here and we can actually limit this. I'll use the Waves L1. We could limit before the plugin to get rid of some of the openness of the vocal if we want to control that a little more. And take and
well,
link
stand
these.
up on your own 2 feet. No excuses are left, no way. Shall I be told to fade away? I love a peaceful existence of life. War and strife can only shorten my days, so I...
Okay, so that may be a bit much for your taste, but you can see how just adding that little bit of gain reduction to catch the peaks before we hit the compression within the Butch Vig plugin, we're already kind of leveling it out and giving it a little bit more control. All about control. I'm just looking to have a little bit more of a hands-on OCD approach to what I want this vocal to sound like while taking advantage of all the beauty that is the Butch Vig plugin. The EQ sounds great. The filters are awesome. The de-esser works. Compression is solid. There's a lot of great stuff, especially the saturation. Really hearing a lot of great reviews about the saturation over in some of the forums. But to take it a little bit further and not to have 30 plugins, it's a cool way to kind of gain some control over that. So let's take a listen one more time. Let me...
Well, stand up on your own 2 feet. No excuses are left, no way. Shall I be told to fade away? I love a peaceful existence of life.
Okay, so quite a volume difference, but you hear how we've brought that vocal forward. We've given it some character. We've cleaned it up, and we've taken advantage of some of these other plugins to help out the processing going on here with the Signature Series plugin from Waves a little bit more. Next, I want to talk about some sends. And in the last video, I mentioned that if you want to learn more about the sends, hit me up. And it was a couple hundred views in, and I had quite a few messages asking about it. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of these. We got the gentle chorus and the mono dimension D. Here's my chorus send right here. And I use the Isotope Nectar 2. This could be the Waves. What's the Mondo mod? Has a gentle chorus setting that I really like. You could go to your Air chorus, any chorus that's set really subtle, really gentle, but at 100%. And then sending it into that. Let's take a listen to what that can do for you. Kind of help give a little bit of a silky smooth tone to it. Here's the chorus right here, and then I'm gonna blend that in.
Well, stand up on your own 2 feet. No excuses are left, no way. Shall I be told to fade away? I love a peaceful existence of life, war and strife.
What I like to do is I like to bring it up into the mix and get it, exaggerate it, hear it, and then pull it back down to where I just kind of feel it. And let's go ahead and mute it. I'll let it play, and then I'll pull it out so you can hear the difference.
Well, stand up on your own 2 feet. No excuses are left, no way. Shall I be told to fade away? I love a peaceful existence of life.
So just a little bit of that silkiness coming in. And then the Dimension D from UAD is pretty much the exact same feel. It's set to mono, and I've got it on number 2 here. Excuse me. And we're going to pull that in. Let's see. Am I on the right send? Yep, right there. Cool. So here's with pulling it in.
Well, stand up on your own 2 feet. No excuses are left, no way. Shall I be told to fade away? I love a peaceful existence of life, war and strife.
And then without it.
Well, stand up on your own 2 feet. No excuses are left, no way. Shall I be told to fade away? I love a peaceful existence of life, war and strife.
Okay, so thickens it up a little bit, add some warmth. And then we could go into, I've got a plate. This could be any verb. Just trying to give it a little bit of space, and I'm going to show you some of the sends and something else I'm doing with the Butch Vig plugin. But here's the plate, pull it out and then in.
Well, stand up on your own 2 feet. No excuses are left, no way. Shall I be told to fade away? I love.
I'm exaggerating that so you can hear it, but then not only do I have the UAD EMT 140, you can check those settings out there. The plugin mix plate is actually pretty sweet, so if you have that, that's a great one to use. The EQ looks like a spaghetti mess, right? So I've cut the lows, cut some of the mid-range out, and there was a frequency around 1.2 that I just hated, so I pulled that all out, cut a lot of the highs. You can see this. Let's bypass and listen to that reverb without the EQ.
Well, stand up on your own 2 feet. No excuses are left, no way. Shall I be told to fade away? I love.
So you can hear all I really wanted from that reverb was the warm sustain that it kind of added to the vocal. And then in the track, it's always important. None of this matters unless you're referencing what's going on in the mix. But just to kind of walk you through what the processing was. The next up was the eighth delay that I don't think I ended up using in this one. But let me pull that open and show you what you could do with the Butch Vig on the back end of your inserts. Here's that.
Well, stand up on your own 2 feet. No excuses are left, no way. Shall I?
Okay, so that's kind of cool. Quite a bit more than just a slap delay. Let me pull the reverb back down.
Well, stand up on your own 2 feet. No excuse. Well, stand up on your own 2.
Okay, now on the back end of an effects end, I could really see the Butch Vig vocal plugin being valuable. So on the back end of this just stock digi delay, let me show you that, just kind of an eighth delay. I'm trying to cram a lot into this tutorial. Forgive me for going quick. But there's an eighth delay there, standard settings, and then I'm going to throw the Butch Vig on the back end and just kind of dial in some tones with it. So let me see what we get.
Well, stand up on your own 2 feet. No excuses are left, no way.
Okay, I got the wrong send, so let's come over here to the eighth delay. We'll back that down.
Well, stand up on your own 2 feet. No excuses are left, no way.
Okay, so I dig that compression. Just want to make sure I control the input going in. Then let's mess with some of the knobs here.
Well, stand up on your own 2 feet. No excuses are left, no way. Shall I be told to fade away? I love a peaceful existence of life, war and strife. Can only shorten my days, so I pray that the skies are never gray. I could never do my neighbor that way. The first man make out of clay, and I bet you say a Kebulon is wet and day.
Okay, so you can see how you can really manipulate and shape some of your effects by adding one of these signature series to the back end of your effects. Actually, I would say this is probably a really popular way to control it. And then the mid cut here, I might even take that all the way up to the 1K where the vocal is dominating, the lead vocal. Maybe I don't want that delay to dominate in that range, so I can come up here.
Stand up on your own 2 feet. No excuses are left, no way. Shall I be told to fade away? I love a peaceful existence of life.
You could play that back a couple times, but I can really hear how removing that 6.5 dB that's built into the Waves plugin from the 1K region allows the effect to complement the lead vocal as opposed to dominating and kind of getting a little honky, a little bit weird with the two clashing in there. So I went quick, but I hope you guys see how some of these effects can really add to your lead vocals, your background vocals. I use the Wave Signature series a lot on background vocals, just kind of throw it up, put them together. It's nice and quick. And the lead vocal, I may sometimes use it, but I've also got my Dave Pensado adapted vocal chain that gives me a lot more control, and I can really get in and automate in between sections and get to work on that. But by no means does it mean that I won't use the Wave Signature series on an entire lead vocal. So I hope you dig that. If you want to see more vocal mixing, go to mixingvocals.com. Don't forget to check out theproaudiofiles.com for all of the incredible content over there. And if you have any more questions on any of this, if I went too quick, you want to see me elaborate a little bit more, feel free to email me at david@davidglennrecording.com, and we will catch you guys in the next video. Thanks.
Well, stand up on your own 2 feet. No excuses are left, no way. Shall I be told to fade away? I love a peaceful existence of life. War and strife can only shorten my days. So I pray that your skies are never gray. I could never do my neighbor that way.